In season 1 on Being Human, we left off with all of our characters being in a suspended state of rest. We think that they've all been able to achieve the next step towards the freedom that they all deserve. So we end season 1 feeling like there are new choices and new beginnings for all of our characters. In season 2, our main theme has been about our main characters falling off the wagon, and we also expand our mythology for how vampires, werewolves, and ghosts react and deal with being inside the world of the living.
These people have lost a lot. They're holding on tightly to the pieces of humanity that they have left, and what they want more than anything is just what you and I have. They just want to be normal people.
Obviously, you know, we have our individual plights, but it's how we make it through those particular storylines together that makes the show unique and interesting.
Please come inside of my house.
It's gonna be great.
That's what the show is about, how these people can lean on each other and support each other and build this family within this house. People, the most unlikely friends, have come together to protect each other and to be there for each other.
I'm sorry, I get really nervous around bad news and I have to eject it as quickly as possible. It's like with food poisoning, you just throw it up, you feel better. I'm sorry, Josh.
Why are there ghosts in there punching each other in the balls?
Oh, God, I can't go through this again. You do it.
In season 2, we get introduced to new kinds of werewolves and new kinds of ghosts, new kinds of vampires, and it all gets pretty crazy. You know, the only thing I think we forgot is like a Frankenstein, but I'm sure that's season 3. There's gonna be a Frankenstein, and he's gonna move in with us, and a mummy. I'm sure those are coming. I'm certain of it. Yeah, and a robot.
I'm moving out.
Where are you going?
I've decided to be reincarnated.
Sally's decided to be reincarnated.
Oh, hilarious.
Our relationships are different from season 1. I think that we've all grown a lot closer. So we have this level of comfort with each other that we didn't have at the beginning of season 1. We also, this year, are able to unload more on each other just because we know each other better and we feel safe with one another. So, you know, oftentimes you take out your frustrations on the people that are closest to you. So I think there's a lot of that this season.
Okay, Dawson, Pacey, forget about Joey and get your A games on.
What's going on?
The reincarnation lady is coming over to interview you about me and make sure that I'm good to mingle with the baby soul.
Did you even hear what you just said?
I've seen it happen. It's real, and I'm doing it.
In season 1, I think the three of us, the 3 roommates, were much more vocal when it came to helping one another. Sally with Danny, you know, me with Nora and Ray and other things, and Aiden obviously had his, you know, the hierarchy of the vampires, but we were all kind of banded together. This year, we're kind of off on our own.
Nora.
It was designed to be this thing where they could have a place where they could be themselves and not have to hide, and they could just cut loose. But for Aiden, it almost made him more closed off because now he had 2 people who, in a way, depended on him, and he didn't want to let them down, so he wouldn't let them in on anything.
Drinking live is different. It's harder to stop, it's impossible to control, and I will slip back to the way that I was before, which is not like this.
Before you were?
No one that you'd ever want to meet.
But Aiden, while he is trying to be more open with Sally and Josh, he's got a lot more to hide this year because he does things that are so horrific that if were Sally and Josh to see him in that state, their relationship would be changed forever. It would be damaged. They would fear him.
I think Sally still comes to Aiden for most of her advice when she's searching for it when it comes to the supernatural world. But I think she's sort of less tolerant of, you know, his guardedness.
Yeah, and how's your little hypothesis working now that you're cut off?
You remember when you were happy for me? You said it deserved something normal?
Right, yeah, I remember that. I'm so happy that you're sleeping with my ex and not eating her.
I didn't know who she was, Josh.
Josh, in season 1, he's a judgmental guy, and he's always really quick to wave his finger at someone and say, you did this and you did that, and it's affecting my life, and you did this. Even though, on many occasions last year, Josh, it was his fault.
When you say enjoying each other's company, that's code for tapping that ass, yes, to be clear?
You are a classy lady.
You know what? We've all been through a lot this past year. If you've got your stuff under control, why shouldn't you get a shot at happiness?
Thank you.
Yes, I approve.
And I didn't ask for your approval.
Yes, but you wanted it.
No, I don't want
it. Written all over your
face. Leave me alone.
In season 2, I think I'm letting him off the hook for his mistakes a little bit more, which is nice. You know, seeing Josh always reprimanding Aiden is funny, although can be a little taxing.
We can't just do whatever we want because it feels good, okay?
I'm not gonna possess her, Josh. I just want to talk to her.
Well, I fail to see how that can happen unless your powers have suddenly progressed beyond pushing paper clips across the kitchen
Josh.
table. What?
It's not up to you to tell her when to stop.
My relationship has changed with Josh in the sense that I feel a lot more comfortable with him, so it's easy for me to, joke around with him and also sort of unload my frustrations. And for him, it's the same thing. When you grow comfortable with someone, it's easy to take the hardships of your day out on the people that are closest to you.
Sally is basically going off on her own this year. We all are. But I think Sally, her storyline hinges on the Aiden character, Sam, and I almost neglecting to be great friends to her.
Aiden, you think that I can do this? Kill other ghosts just to save myself?
I can't answer that for you.
Really? Because, no offense, you seem like the go-to guy for this kind of thing.
Instead of telling her what it is that she needs to be doing and suggesting courses of action, he's starting to back off and say, hey, okay, you explore this. Sally, you figure this out. You've got yourself into something, and you're going to have to go through it yourself and come out the other side yourself, or you're just going to go back in at some later date. You have to figure this out.
Their neglect of Sally is almost what drives Sally's craziness.
I think a lot of times she feels like the two of them don't take her as seriously as she feels like they could. And I think that a lot of frustration comes from that, not feeling validated, not feeling like what's going on in her life is as important to them as what's going on in theirs.
If you ever hit in my face again,
What? You'll kill me? Huh? You'll kill Zoe? You're gone, man. You started feeding live. You murdered those two girls. Those two human beings. Under our roof. This sacred place. Does it stop, Aiden? When does it stop?
Because we care so much about each other, we're even more angry and upset when one or the other messes up. So it makes for a lot of interesting, funny moments and dramatic moments and well-layered friendship moments.
How are you adjusting to the hospital?
Well, it's been 3 months since we last spoke, so the adjustment's pretty much over.
There's a funny thing about roast chicken. Everyone always assumes it's about the spices, but really it's the slow cooking. That you really seal in those juices.
And that's probably why it's so delicious.
The characters are, I think, always going to be in some way dependent on each other. And, which is funny because when it comes to survival on this set, I think me and Sam Huntington and Megan Rath are all dependent on each other anyway. You put in these long days, and there are times where you ask yourself, damn, do I enjoy this, or is this just 15 hours of really hard work. What is this? And then when I see Sammy and Megan come on, I go, okay, you know, I enjoy this. This is a good time.
One of the things that I find interesting is this, for my character, the theme of identity, and how he continuously through the season gets options taken away from him in terms of what he could be doing and where he could be going and how he could be behaving. And as these options are stripped away, he learns who he in fact is. Not who he wants to be and not who he's afraid he'll be, but who he really is. And having that mirror held up to him is disturbing.
Hi. Is Tracy here?
No, I'm Darla. But she said she might need something.
Going into season 2, we see that Aiden is alone and struggling with trying to find the path into freedom underneath the weight of the vampire clans that have come together to try and figure out a way to fill the vacuum in Boston which Bishop used to fill. Having been directly responsible for Bishop's death, we see that Aiden is challenged in a way by the council and offered in exchange his own freedom for supporting and helping to bring to rise Suren's ascension towards the new leader of Boston at Mother's instruction. Aiden quickly discovers that in order for him to truly attain freedom, he's got to go to a very, very dark place of re-emerging himself into this mob family, which is the vampire order.
Aiden.
Excuse me.
You will be my daughter's second. You will answer her every question, her every need. You will stand behind her as she brings Boston fully under her control. In return, I would be willing to grant you true release from all this. Is that something that would interest you? Freedom?
There's an interesting arc with this character where he starts out saying, well, look, I'm only doing this job for the vampires because ultimately what I want is to never have to deal with any vampires ever again. Well, as he evolves through this season and as he falls off the wagon and he becomes more dependent on that society and he's given into those parts of himself. As he gives into those parts of himself, he finds himself dependent psychologically on all these things.
We've seen him in season 1 fall off the wagon several times, with Rebecca certainly, in flashbacks with Celine. He's been able to control his urge as opposed to falling off the wagon. But it's something that is always a daily struggle for him.
As he starts backsliding and starts indulging in human blood, we see combat prowess and brutality like we haven't seen from this character yet.
By the end of the season, he doesn't really want to give it up. He takes quite a few steps backward in his evolution toward his humanity.
He's dealing with some very, very powerful vampires. The most powerful being portrayed by Mother. Mother has superhuman speed. She can decapitate people with her bare hands. And we see these things at play, which we've never seen before out of any other vampire that's been portrayed in the series. In season 2, we also meet a very significant person from Aidan's past, Suren. Suren and Aiden knew each other 80 years ago in the 1930s in Boston, when Aiden was a much more formal part of Mother's entourage.
Sister, if you're giving a lecture on squandered talent, let me pull up a chair. You're the expert.
You think my guards in Newport or Chicago would ever lay a finger on me?
Oh, well, of course not. They all want something from you. I just want you gone.
At least their people understand how to treat us.
You want to be treated like a royal, act like one, and stop using your mother as an excuse to do nothing.
It's like that girl that you had the huge crush on back in high school, and then maybe you get a chance to go on a date with her when you're like 22. Maybe it's not exactly what you thought it might be, right? And so Aiden gets locked up into what I could safely say is a bad relationship.
Suren is a centuries-old vampire. She's just woken up from a very long sleep. She's a really great character because she's you know, in a way she's innocent. She's free and wild, and at the same time there's this need for her to fit the mold.
She's mine.
Suren's relationship with Aidan is complicated, to say the very least. I don't think it's a relationship that would ever work. It's that guy that you know, that you're so attracted to and you want to be with so badly, but you know it's going to end in disaster.
Go to Corvallis and buy yourself a real suit. I'll talk to Mother about putting you on Suren's D10.
And wipe that smile off your face.
Aidan, at one point in the 30s, is assigned to her to kind of look after her, babysitter really, because she's a wild child. When Suren presents herself as a romantic opportunity for Aidan, he goes, no, that was not my job. As much as I want that, this isn't right and this wouldn't go well. And so he makes an honorable decision to not pursue that. And then basically Henry, not agreeing with that, wanting the power that Suren would offer if someone got involved with her, decides to leapfrog Aidan. And he starts dating her. And that doesn't end well, let me tell you.
Mother is going to be pissed. You just err on the side of caution generally when you're dealing with royals.
Get out.
We were kind of in the middle of something.
I gave you everything.
Now you don't have to anymore. I have her.
I warned you how this ends.
You made your choice. So have I.
There's kind of a hierarchical way that vampires in being human work. And there's royalty, and when you turn someone, you're lower than the person who turned you. Henry has this great arc. He originally, as a human, he was somewhat reserved and just not confident with himself. And when Aidan turns him, it gives him this confidence and this ability to live up to who he really wanted to be.
I told you I can't kill a man. I know. But that was before you met me.
Aidan decides that this is his opportunity to have, you know, a little vampire buddy, the way that Bishop has for all this time. Bishop, of course, is not happy about this because it interferes with that father-son relationship that Bishop and Aidan have.
James Bishop, might I present Private Henry Durham, U.S. Army, the finest medic who ever lived.
Or died. And then was born again.
I'll just go say goodbye to the fellas.
There's kind of a mythology that's been established throughout all of Western culture that sons kill fathers. And our story, unfortunately, follows that same mythology. And I have the sense in this episode here that Aidan's story will follow the same mythology, in which case he's in a great deal of danger. Which is, I think, the purpose of my coming to visit him, to save him, to try to help him, like I did in the first season.
Bishop ain't gone. No. Aidan starts losing his marbles, and suddenly Bishop's right there, and he's talking to him.
Bishop, I think, in the season before, as antagonistic as his character seemed to Aiden, was always trying to protect Aiden in some way. And I think that's the purpose of the Visions now. I think he's like an Obi-Wan Kenobi coming back and guiding the wayward son to the right path.
You're probably going to kill Henry. You'll cut yourself a path straight to the castle's front door. Whatever it takes to rule side by side with Suren.
That's not who I am. It's not what I want.
Yeah, I think it is.
Through killing Henry, which is what Bishop really wants because he's always been jealous of Aiden's relationship with Henry, Bishop is able to taunt and push Aiden to the edge in episode 6, where we almost see Bishop get what he wants.
Do it, Aiden. Do it.
You know, it depends on your point of view, whether what happens with Henry is because Aiden was not ready to be a father and made some bad choices, or is it just that he picked the wrong guy?
Henry, I'm sorry. I tried to tell you 80 years ago there's a price to pay for screwing around with the royal.
But there are some really compelling scenes that we've shot with Kyle Schmid that I've really enjoyed because it's a totally different side of the character. We've alluded to the fact that Aiden has this paternal quality to him, but we haven't seen it that much, not until this year. So we see a lot of things that we've heard about with Aiden this season, but we actually get to see it now, which is really fun.
Josh, perhaps more so than anyone on the show, wants to be normal and human. If he could just cure himself, he could be human again. He could have what he once had.
Hi.
So, what time do you officially turn?
Why are you asking?
Well, I want to pick you up. I'll take you to the woods.
With Josh, he has a secret with Nora about him being a werewolf is out into the open. So now we feel like he has a chance at an honest, regular life with a relationship with Nora who cares about him deeply for who he is. Ultimately, Josh has to travel down the road of making very dark decisions that deal with life and death in order to make his life clean and free again.
Nora! The cliffhanger at the end of season 1 is, will Nora turn into a werewolf? And sure enough, at the beginning of season 2, we find out that yeah, that is the case. She does turn into a werewolf.
Just a scratch from a werewolf is enough to contaminate you and infect you with the werewolf virus so that you will also turn into a werewolf. So yeah, I got scratched, and between season 1 and season 2, I have 4 weeks of, you know, worry and concern.
I need to fix this. I need to try and fix this for you.
Oh, whoa. Oh, no, I do not want you giving up med school for me. I don't want that responsibility.
What do you want? What do you want?
Josh's plight becomes find a cure. Do anything you can to find a cure. Save this woman who I love from this horrible curse. So his journey becomes very different. He decides not to go to medical school and instead focus all of his energy on finding a cure. Using medicine, using science to cure the wolf gene, if you will.
Every cell in my body is screaming at me to run out of here and never look back.
That's the wolf. You're anxious. You get used to it. You just need to learn to fight it.
The kicker is, Nora doesn't necessarily want to be cured. That's the journey that she takes. It's very different than Josh in that she embraces it and uses it and is intoxicated by it. And I think it throws him for a loop and is an extremely difficult thing for him to come to terms with.
Nora. Oh, God, are you? What did we do?
Nora has spent her entire life being a victim, and for the first time in her life, she feels strong and capable and able to wake up every day and know what she wants and not sort of hide from anything anymore, not run from anything anymore. It's too powerful inside of her, and she can't escape it.
She's got a lot of demons in her past, and I think those demons are things that she feels like she can solve with the power that comes from being the wolf. And then there's these characters, twin purebred werewolves who come in and kind of take her over to the dark side.
Along the way, he ends up meeting Connor and Bryn, two purebred werewolves that want his help in order to find a cure. But we quickly realize that they don't want a cure at all. They just want the code to whatever genetic switch would be able to turn on them being werewolves all the time, which is the same code that Josh is working on in order to deactivate him being a werewolf all the time.
Wait, you guys want to be wolves all the time. This is a huge mistake. Get out. No, get out.
Wait,
Get out.
we can help each other.
By turning you into a monster every minute of every day? No.
Purebreds are sleeker. They're more model-esque looking. They have high-cut cheekbones as people, and they want to be werewolves 30 days out of the month, unlike Josh and Nora, who are struggling with their humanity during the other 29. And these werewolves have a very, very graceful time changing in and out of becoming werewolves and people. In fact, they end up having to take wolfsbane, which is a kind of an herb, in order to calm their senses when they're human, because they feel all the amped up senses of being a werewolf the entire month until they get to that fateful day when they turn.
Wow. You're messed up. The twins really messed you up worse than I thought.
You think I'm messed up?
Yes.
I'll be turning tonight with my friends in the shed.
And after Nora leaves with Bryn to discover her true wolf self, Josh, after being devastated, discovers that there is, in fact, a new opportunity with his old love, Julia, to discover for once and for all if there's a way that he can live a normal life and how to deal with Julia's knowledge about his wolf state in the process.
Josh! Josh! Look at me! Please!
As hard as Josh is fighting to save not only his relationship, but this woman who he loves, it's all falling to pieces. It's all just being stripped from him. And there's really nothing he can do about it. He feels helpless.
Our relationship began because you wanted to feel more human. You wanted to be human. And that's the difference between us. You want to be human. And I don't think I do.
I think it's the most relatable stuff on the show this year. It deals less with the supernatural element than the Sally and Aiden storylines, and more with very understandable, relatable concepts: miscarriage, breakups, cheating. It's very things that people can understand. It's really cool for me because they're metaphors and themes that I understand, and I can embrace and try and make really, really honest.
Guys, get your freaking asses down here! This is incredible! Hello? Aiden? Josh, family meeting? Now, please!
One thing that we talk about last season that is a theme in this one is what happens to a ghost that is around too long and sort of sacrifices her chance to move on. Does she become a little crazy? And we find out that yes, she does.
Sally is placed into a world of isolation. She's left alone a lot of the times. She feels like more and more like she's drifting away emotionally into despair because she doesn't know what kind of future in her afterlife she'll truly have with having missed her door from season 1.
It all starts off, she meets her friend Stevie, who tells her that ghosts can dream.
You ever try sleeping? Block it out?
Huh. I wish.
Wait. Can we even do that?
You can dream as a ghost, which is a way of relieving some of the loneliness and the isolation. But in her first dreaming experience, she comes across her door and dreams that she goes through it, only as she steps in to discover that she's unleashed a terrible dark force.
What do you want?
There are consequences of this dream that she has that is now stalking her and tormenting her. And it's up to her to figure out what that is.
Who are you?
You know exactly who I am.
Sally this season meets a lot of people who sort of guide her through her exploration of what happens after she misses the door.
You. Out.
Nurse Ghost, cute. Your shift's over, sweetie.
I'm not dead yet. Now go. No unauthorized ghosts in the nursery.
Zoe is one of the characters that we come across who reincarnates ghosts.
Second sight, sixth sense. It's a gift. It's a curse. Crazy stuff.
Zoe is human, but she has a connection with the afterlife that she has had since she's been a child. And she's able to see ghosts, talk to ghosts. She's able to help ghosts in a way that perhaps nobody else can who's got that same sort of connection.
The idea is that when a baby is sick and bordering on death, what happens when they make that miracle recovery that nobody quite understands is because a ghost has put themselves in their body and has given them new life, which is sort of a nice idea, I think, for me. I really liked that.
Don't cry, it's gonna be okay.
Sally gets this idea that she wants to do that, and she feels that she's ready, and then sort of comes to the realization that once Sally is reincarnated in this baby, the darkness is going to be stuck to this child who's completely helpless. So I think she realizes that it wasn't the right thing to do. There's a lot of post-traumatic stress that's happening right now, and the way that it manifests in her is this desperation to have a purpose and to have an effect on someone and be a part of something.
Once inside a body, she can feel, she can smell, she can taste, all the things that we can do in human form, and it's an addiction. It's like becoming addicted to a very, very lethal drug like crack or methamphetamines. And so she winds up over and over again possessing others in order to regain that feelings of being alive again, and it brings her into a very, very dark place.
She's tempted, and she's dealing with possession and the addiction to that. She's dealing with this darkness that's growing inside of her and trying to take over her consciousness. And these are all consequences, of course, of missing the door.
I don't think I can help you anymore.
I don't need your help. You're crazy.
The more that she gets into the world of being around ghosts who have gone to dark places, the more she discovers that there are ways, in fact, to kill ghosts. And one of these is through shredding. If you build up enough emotion and you build up enough intent, you can shred ghosts into nothingness. And we discover that they're not dead at all, that their spirits, in fact, go to another plane where they cease to exist even in their ghostly form. But they're trapped into a world that's largely limbo, where it's dark and there's no other people around. There's nobody to talk to, and in fact, you don't have any form or sight. And it's the most scary, terrifying place to be, and that's a world that Sally ends up drifting into towards the end of season 2.
She's so desperate for a purpose that she's created this other part of herself that makes her feel special, that makes her feel like she is meant for something. And whether it's good or bad, at least it's something.
Hey, what the?
You said you were done possessing.
So, I slipped once.
You're never gonna stop.
Do it.
Sally! Sally! Shred! Sally! What did I teach you? Strike?
So what we're shooting today is Sally's first attempt at reaping somebody, and we're reaping Walter, who is a ghost that Sally met at the ghost support group and is now possessing children. And so Sally sort of realizes that, okay, it's safe for me to take this person because he's clearly doing harm. So the Reaper's showing her the logistics of how to actually do it. And, you know, that's not to say that it's not any less traumatizing.
You could take my job. Be Reaper. It's either that, or I shred you. I'll come for your answer tonight.
When you really think about it, it really sort of blurs the lines of morality. Sally is ending any chance they ever had for closure. And they're looking for the same thing that she is, so it's a big step that she's taking. She's taking on this role of this murderer in order to save yourself.
Sally!
Sally, let him go.
You don't want to do this, Sally.
I think I do. Owen boys, Sally isn't here anymore.
Sally!
I think that she's a good person, and she's sort of clouded by all the stuff that has happened to her, but this piece of her is, this dark side of her is always there, and you can't just put that away. You can suppress it for a little bit, but eventually it's gonna come back out again.
Guys, let me out. Guys, come on.
There's someone with a
We are in the hotel, which is a very significant place for the vampires. At one point in the 30s, they mixed with high society, and they were actually a little bit more apparent and weren't hiding in the same way.
The hotel, much like the funeral home in season 1, is a cover for the vampires to operate a legitimate business that has hotel rooms for rent that humans can come in and out of during the day, and allows the vampires to have a place of business right in the heart of Boston so that they can live amongst the human in secrecy. Inside the hotel, we have a majestic ballroom that harkens back to the 20s.
Well, the drapes are different, but everything else looks the same. It's like we were just here. Except the lights were more flattering back then. These bulbs are so harsh.
Suren discovered that while being involved with Henry betrayed her and had an affair with a human girl. So Suren, having found out this information, storms into a formal event into the ballroom and dramatically kills this young, beautiful woman in front of all of the human guests, which is a big no-no in our vampire mythology. You never expose yourself as a vampire in front of humans.
You can't think of these vampires as rational people. I mean, not only do they have this wealth of human experience where they've lived several lifetimes, but they've also done some of the most horrendous, awful, terrible things that you could imagine.
Strike up the band. Lock the doors.
Mother and some of the other elder vampires, having witnessed this event, immediately lock the doors to the ballroom and kill all the witnesses.
Please don't drown me. Mother!
We're about to kill an entire ballroom full of people. It's honestly, it's cool because it's one of the bigger scenes that we've done on this show.
make sure that you're here, because the cameras are there, you want to turn around and you do this here, not here. Okay? Not like this, it's like coming out here and there you go.
Strike up the band. Lock the doors.
I've been known to say thanks for watching our little show, and this year it just seems a little bit bigger, and we have these incredible locations that we're shooting in, and it's very cool. Our art department has done a great job.
I'm coloring the prosthetic I applied earlier, so putting the color inside the holes so it looks deeper, and then we'll put fresh blood. And yeah, there's lots of blood on Being Human. For 94 days of shooting, wow, we must buy, I don't know, maybe 10 gallons. There's a lot of different blood, but they're pretty much all based with the same thing, which is corn syrup and food colorant. But then it's just a matter of quantity and different color. More red, more blue, more orange, darker, medium, lighter. And we just pick them depending on the lenses, the filters, the lighting. If it's night shooting, we're going to use a paler, lighter blood color. If it's a day shooting, it's going to be darker. Then we have edible blood. There's only one brand, and it's a mint flavor. It's called Stage Blood by Ben I, and it's the only edible one that we use. It's quite dark, but it's good. It's efficient. It works well. You're already going to have some dripping down your chin, and then at the last second, at the clap, Melissa's gonna come, she's gonna put edible blood in your mouth, which you're gonna spit out at action, on action. Yeah. Now they have what they're using on that scene, for example, it's plastic, stained plastic, so it's easier for them, it's already made, and the form is like they cut into a certain material, they stained it blood color. And so it's easy to just put it there, and then they remove it. It doesn't stain the decor, the location, floor. Some makeup artists like to use gloves so they don't stain their hands, but I don't. I like to feel the product. I like to really control it and yeah, feel it. Like gardening without gloves, it's the same idea. Every night we get home with our hands stained in red. There's a trick. The blood can be removed with shaving cream. It's the only thing that removes the stain on the skin. It's shaving cream. Yeah. We just rub it in, then rinse it, and it goes away.
This is a contemporary TV series, so to do a flashback to the 1930s with a ballroom is one thing, but to also have a massacre of 80 people was a big challenge for my crew because we couldn't just go to a place and rent the outfits we needed. We had to create something that we could destroy. We made costumes, of course, for Suren and the mother, and for some of the Henry's mistress, sister's friend, or anything we thought we might need in doubles or, for important roles. Suren, in the whole, I've given her a palette. I always saw her a little bit as a princess, kind of fluttery, like the 16-year-old, 18-year-old, the coming out party being presented to society. And I wanted her sexy, but I also wanted to contrast. sort of the insanity or the difficulty she has dealing with, you know, her own evil. So thinking about the scene later on when she's covered in blood and the horror of it, that'd be a nice contrast to have this very beautiful, elegant young woman completely out of her mind, covered in blood. Mother is the hostess, so we wanted a certain amount of elegance. You know, she is presenting herself and her family, so we wanted, again, something from the period that showed her stature, her elegance. We kept something within the 30s spirit, so she blends in with everybody else. And then for the extras, we had to get extra creative. We rented some pieces, and for the rest of it, we scoured the secondhand shops in the city, looking for prom dresses, party dresses from the last few years, the last decade, that we could change over and make them look, you know, into the spirit of the 30s. Some dresses were just, all they needed was a bit of jewelry, a bit of capes, some gloves. Other ones we covered up. We might just, you know, embellish in a way so we could, you know, give Charlotte, director, a lot of dresses for these dead bodies we're going to have and blood and everything at the end, you know, at the end of the evening. It's been really exciting to get on the set, you know, when everybody's in hair and makeup, to see with the decor and to see it all together, and I couldn't be happier.
I get to be the one guy on the show who gets to actually look good, like, pretty much all the time. You know, and he gets to go to these different eras, and they're always trying to make me look good, which is great. It's hilarious, because I talked to Sam Huntington, and he's like, you know, he gets very impatient at this point with his wardrobe. And then, of course, Megan, she has one piece of wardrobe. I mean, this year she has a few changes, but basically she has one piece of wardrobe. So she was generally happy about it, but, you know, I know she gets a little bit sick of it. And I'm sitting here trying to coach Megan Rath and Sam Huntington how they should be cool with their costumes when I'm the guy that always gets to look like $1 million. Like, they always just get me the coolest clothes.
Roll it. Back.
Set. Set. Action. Aiden! Get up! Stop! I just need a little bit. What the hell's wrong? Let me go. Let me explain. I just need a little bit more.
So what? So you can
get
fine, right?
Get the fuck off me.
That's it. So you can do what? Suck Joe and Zoe dry. And then, ready? Ready?
You good?
It's gonna be, yeah, there was one more line.
Was there?
There's one more line before.
Wait, let's walk through this. Okay, Aiden, stop.
Stop.
Boom.
And then you say, I need.
No, I need just a
What the
little
hell's
bit more.
wrong with you?
Let me go, and let me just...
So what? So you can suck Zoe dry?
I can, yeah, right, and then I say, I can say, I just need a little bit more, I can stop, she's gonna be fine.
Listen to yourself, you're trying to save our friend.
Great, sorry about that. Try it again? Sure. No, it's good, it's good, let's shoot it, it's good. One. Set. And action. Stop!
What the hell?
No, let me just...
What the hell's wrong with you?
Let me go, I just...
No, so what? You can suck Zoe dry?
I just need a little bit more, I can stop, she's gonna be fine.
Yourself. You're trying to save our friend.
Working with Sam Huntington and Megan Rath is really just a dream, because these are people who are close friends of mine at this point. When we met at the audition years ago, we all just kind of sat in a room and looked at each other, and we just started doing the scenes, and we're like, oh, this somehow works. And it's the same thing with our friendship. We just kind of joke around and we go, wow, this somehow works. We sort of get how to be friends. So much so that after season 1, we all went on vacation together.
Fucking shaking that. Yeah, get in there. Yeah.
We always say that our favorite scenes are the ones that we're all doing together, and they really make a hard day so much easier just being around them and just being able to laugh. It just makes all the difference, and we love being together. So, you know, we're the happiest when it's the three of us.
It really is kind of like a family show at this point. We're all very close, and close with Adam Kane, and I mean, and we damn well better be. We spend way too much time here. It's...
B mark.
Mark.
Set. And action.
Hayden! Hayden, breathe! Breathe, breathe, breathe! Breathe, breathe, breathe! Hayden! Hayden! Hayden, just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. You're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Come on, come on! Hayden! 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 Just a fucking...
You like that?
Just a lot.
You go and you shoot a bunch of stuff and you go, was that terrible? I have no idea. I just don't know. Because it ain't like, you know, on this set, we don't have time for someone to go, that take was great, Sam. And, you know, no, there's no time for that. You go, you do your work, you leave. And this season, in some cases, 1 or 2 takes. So, you know, yeah, it feels good.
Come on, go! Satu, go!
Well, he's gonna get by. I'm gonna do this as he comes by.
He's gonna go.
Camera, here we go.
Come on, Sammy, go!
MOS!
This actually is uncomfortable. I know I'm just doing this, but seriously.
It's got such a realistic ass. Its ass is its best feature. Nice work, bud.
Its ass is its best feature. Oh, fuck you all. Fame.
So, you know, obviously at this point, we have a foam wolf, weighted moving foam wolf. We've painted probably 90% of it already. Right now, I'm just doing some finishing touches on him. Specifically, the actor's eyes. This is Connor. This is Connor Wolf. Thematic, continuity. So I'm basically doing the eyes. So we have to match them. So now I see there's a bit too much yellow and warmth there. I'm gonna add some more coolness. So now I'm with the blues, and we're trying to match the eyes of the actor. At the same time, since I have a color in there that can be used to cool down the shadows in some spots. The CG company doing the effects on the show sent us this hair density map. So I'm basically just being more careful where there's no fur to add some of the coolness of the skin. So right now I'm using both of these to touch up with my blue and my airbrush. This wolf right now weighs about 75 pounds on purpose, because the director asked us to have natural movement in it, but also he wanted the actor that's gonna move it to not fake the weight, which always looks fake when you move like foam rocks. So he thought, okay, 75 pounds movements, it's gonna help my actor. So we kept it at 75 pounds.
From the back, it looks nice.
Oh, I mean, that looks really cool. Wait. See if this feels... Here, wait. No, keep them up real quick.
Yeah, hold on.
Is it...
See, I told you, right? 75 is 75, right?
Well, yeah, but it's here. If he's
Like
holding
that.
it like, yes, I understand, but like getting it from the ground up on there.
I know.
In a quick, swift motion. Yeah, let's try it again. If I had time to literally go like this, then I could do it. What I need to do is this.
That's it.
Get him up here. Yeah, thanks for that.
You have to flip his rib.
That's awesome. That looks awesome.
In our job, we interact with the cast a lot. For long periods of time. It's hard, but we manage to laugh, at it and make jokes and hold on and finish our days.
So it's like literally perfect.
Yeah. The
and
haunches.
sensual. I'm like into that.
Yeah.
It's weird. You wouldn't think, because I'm a man and that's a mythical beast. I'm into it.
It's a hard show to shoot. It really is. I mean, you should see these scripts when they come in. These scripts are like, in some cases, like 10-day scripts, and we're shooting them in 7 days. And we have all these crazy things and things that make our show look way more expensive than it is. Like the cameras are better in low light conditions, so Pierre, when he lights, he doesn't have to throw up as many lights, which means that our setups are faster and we're getting more work done. And our show, there's quite a bit of darkness, so you imagine, okay, a camera with a good deal of contrast in terms of how it picks up images is probably a good idea. Muse has done an incredible job of making us look like we really upgraded everything. And not to mention, the scope is bigger, not just with the sets that we have at our disposal, but also the cast. I mean, we have all these wonderful actors and all these characters all over the place. I mean, last year it was a very sort of small show that took place in that apartment, and now we're really widening out the scope. When we go back in time, we go further back in time, which is harder to do. When we have people in a scene, well, there's more people in a scene. Where last year we would have one interesting werewolf character who we've met that isn't Josh, this year we have 2 and maybe more. And all these notions of different kinds of vampires and different kinds of werewolves and different kinds of ghosts and Sally's whole terrible secret. I mean, it's a bigger show this year, and that's really cool.
You pull that trigger, and you are the monster, Josh. Not the wolf, not me.
All this time, I've been beating myself up. Living half a life. Trying to find a cure. Trying to find a way to make this right. And all this time, it was you.
I remember after I read the first script, I turned to my wife and I said, this is going to be something. I don't know what it's going to be, but this is going to be amazing. And I need to be a part of it. And so, and the funny thing is, whenever you feel like that about a project, almost 10 times out of 10, 99% of the time, you don't even come close to getting it. So of course, that's what I said. I said, this is so great, there's no way in hell I'm going to get this job. Which is a great attitude to have, you know. And then, you know, I just kind of moved up through the ranks of the audition process and got really, really, really lucky.
When I read the scripts for the first time, and I was seeing Sally on the page, it was really something so three-dimensional in my mind, and I really saw myself in that character and was instantly able to relate to her. It was kind of that feeling that is so rare as an actor when you read something and immediately get this feeling of, I need to be a part of this, and if I'm not, my heart is going to shatter into a million pieces because I feel like it's my voice.
Why is the bathroom mirror calling me a whore?
I have no idea.
Okay, so there's this extremely lame poltergeist homage going on in the kitchen right now, Sally.
What?
Okay, with the lights, can we just... I'm gonna have a seizure. I'm literally...
Guys, this isn't me, I swear. Why does everyone just assume that it's my fault? How do we know that's even a ghost? I think we've all collectively pissed off enough people to wage a short but consequential war.
Oh, come on, don't look at me. My people can't enter without an invitation.
Also, neither of us recently played Maria Von Trapp to a group of ghostly teenage wastelands. I feel like I've found my working soulmates. These guys are so talented and so hilarious and have such amazing energy that it's a joy to come to work every day. So that's reason number one. And our crew also, I mean, we're so tight. Everyone's so tight now. But beyond that, like, we get to shoot these amazing scenes, these scenes that are so rich and so three-dimensional and so original and natural and relatable that when you finish shooting a scene like that, it gives you a purpose. you know, it gives you a reason to work.
Première position.
Right? In there. I think that's roughly right. Look at you. You're an adorable man.
I know.
Look at that's Jean-Michel. That's what he does. He puts a lid on my tea, and then he draws a little face on it so I know it's mine. That's what I do. That's what he does. Actually, that's his sole purpose on this job. Right. That's really all. That's right. He's my lid guy. He's just my lid guy.
You need a lid, man?
Yeah, he works every day very hard. I feel so charged afterwards and so proud and so elated that's why I think the world of this show.